Welcome to this edition of the Handy Randy Show. With me, a friend that lives in the Dover, New Philadelphia area, Carl Beatty from Beatty's Builders. Welcome, Carl.
Thank you, Randy. Glad to be on your show.
We today are going to venture into another area that we really haven't tread on before. Mostly, you know, we do tractors and cars and trucks and boats and so forth. But, you know, along with all of those things that are favorite subjects, we need a place to store them. I'll give you an example, Carl. I have 3 vehicles. Those vehicles are spread over about a 20-mile radius for storage purposes. I pay to store my vehicles, and that is the major problem if you talk to people that are into restoration, that are into buying vehicles, whether, and again, I just last week I did a story on Chris Craft classic boats. You have to keep those somewhere, and you want to keep them in a place that's not rat infested, bat infested, mice infested. That's where you come in. Yeah. Tell us about your business.
Okay, Randy. Well, in 1997, when I started Beatty's Builders, I had envisions of becoming a builder. I started out traditionally doing roofing and worked my way into it slow. But in 2002, I got a crazy idea to come up with my own E3 wall system. We got our first customer and hired an engineer to come in and help us. And we actually started pre-manufacturing walls and hauling the walls to the site and assembling the buildings. And from there, it's just escalated so much that we're expanding our market area and trying to grow our business and provide customers with a very quality, valuable product built with a lot different type of system that we can move in the field faster than our competitors. So that being said, everything is built in a controlled environment, which means a lot. People don't like their wood laying out in the weather or their contractors coming and going and waiting for materials. I try to put everything in place up front, get everything ordered. It's a little different process, but at the end, it's a faster process.
You know, one of the most common complaints that consumers have on contractors and builders is they don't seem to be in any kind of a hurry to get the building done. I'd like to have my building done. And I had a garage built, a car and a half. They told me then I was making a mistake. I should have done a two and a half car garage, but I had it built. Now, this was a friend of mine, and this particular friend, I think, took advantage of our friendship and stretched this over a whole summer. Now, I felt he was giving me a good price, so I couldn't complain. But that is a common complaint, though, in people that are having buildings erected, is kind of took forever.
Yes, that's the biggest thing I hear with pre-qualifying all my customers too, Randy. It's like I like to have my communication up front and say I would rather spend a little bit more time up front and build that long-term relationship and get out there and get your building up. We've built several hundred buildings all over Ohio, pretty much in a 100-mile radius from my Dover, New Philadelphia. And a lot of those buildings, believe it or not, with my system and everything that I do and the process that I approach, we build buildings in one day. Now, I don't mean we get them up. We don't get all the steel and the roofing and everything on, but normally we can assemble a 2,500 square foot building and down in one day most of the time.
Wow, that's incredible. Now, when we first talked, you had told me that you like to go into a situation where the area that the garage is going to be done is prepared.
Yes.
What exactly does that mean?
Well, I like the lot to be plus minus a couple inches in elevation so that we're building on a good sound lot, and the lot must be somewhere around 8 to 10 foot bigger in diameter of your building, you know, length and width.
Okay. And when you say elevation, you don't want to come in a situation where they're going to build a garage that's lower than the foundation of the house or the existing building.
Exactly.
You don't want to go into a swamp.
Exactly. Well, and it has to be pretty much level, and we can't build if it's like more than about somewhere around 30 inches from one corner to the opposite corners or whatever, because you have to haul and fill, you have to compact it proper. But I don't like to build where I can't get my pole and my footer pad on good solid base ground.
You know, I was just thinking about that. It says it's if and when you're building something, and usually Murphy's Law, if there's something will go wrong, it can go wrong, will go wrong. Example, wiring, maybe driving over a culvert or pipes or something like that, bringing equipment in. And I'm sure all these 18 years that you've been doing buildings, you've experienced all of those situations and hurdles you have to jump over to get buildings done.
Absolutely, it's always a challenge. It's always a challenge. You know, it's really rough. You know, and every job is unique in its own. It's really, really tough to go in and really price a job at the same price as you priced your buddies or someone down the road, and they might say, well, "Why is this one more?" But you know, they all have their own ways.
Right.
It's
now,
tough.
When I think of building, in my case, when we had our garage built, we started with a area that had to be level, had to be leveled out, had to be prepared. That was pretty much a foundation. We had to start with a good foundation, sand and gravel. And that's basically what a good foundation is all about. Am I correct there?
Yes, absolutely correct. You do have to have everything right, because the foundation is the most important part of any structure, you know. And that's where a lot of our integrity and stuff that you've talked about and about Beatty's Builders comes in. You know, we try to make sure that we can give the customer the most bang for their buck and treat everybody on an equal playing field. Now,
next stage is we build a frame out of 2x6s to prepare the footer. There's where, as a matter of fact, before we get into Beatty building, let me show you how we started with my garage and this was actually the second of 3 steps in building, and this was preparing the footer. Now you do something different, but we want to show you the traditional garage that's built in ABC, Ohio, how it's done. Let's take a look.
Chapter 2. Setting the layout and placing the footings. In this case, we are connecting our foundation to an existing foundation or concrete wall brace. Next, we will be using string line, a tape measurer, a level, marking paint, metal stakes, and a small sledgehammer. Measure out the outside boundary of the foundation using the tape measurer and mark them with spray paint. Place metal stakes into the ground at the corners and string your line at least 8 inches off the ground. Measure the angles to be perfect right angles and restring anything that doesn't match up. Notice the corner stakes are installed 12 inches to 18 inches outside the marker paint, allowing you to make a cross with the string line where the corner of the building will be. Also, making it possible to install the footing boards without removing the corner stakes. Placing your outside boundary lines are important because you will use them to line up the outer boards of your mold for your foundation. These molds are called footings. As you place your string line, it only needs to be close, within ½ inch or so. After the footings are set up, you will reset the outer wall and align them perfectly square on top of the footings. And now for the footings. Using the previous measurements marked by spray paint and the line, start laying down your footings and measure them to fit. Your footings must be a minimum of 15 inches apart. The footings are 2x6s that you can use as a cast for your concrete foundation. You need a 2x6 on each side to act as the walls of the cast. If you have 2x6s that do not reach, use other pieces of wood and nail them together or cut out the correct measurements of the wood. Note: your string line is the outer edge of the stem wall. You will need to measure from the line out about 4½ inches to the outer form. Then, to set the interior form, measure in 10½ inches. Once you have the footings in place, screw them together so that they become 2 solid shapes, an inner square and an outer square. The footings must be plumb, a word meaning balanced and level. Since 2x6s are easily warped or bow in the middle, you will be using metal or wooden stakes to straighten out the sides as shown. When you are finished with this, go around the footings and measure the gap in between with your measuring tape. Measure every few feet or so. If your boards are warped at all, make your adjustments by bending them into place and adding or moving your stakes. The stakes must be on the outside of the footings cast so that the concrete can evenly fill in and be able to remove the stakes after concrete cures. Next, you will need to use a laser leveler. Go around to the corners of the footings and make sure that they are level. Use leftover wood scraps to raise or lower the footing edges to meet the level height. Drive stakes in at an angle alternating the direction as you go, not straight in. This will stop the forms from being pushed down as you add weight to the footings like the stem wall in concrete, or even just walking on the footings. Install stakes every 3 feet to ensure no blowouts and within 1 feet of the ends. Use wooden stakes across each of the corners of the footings as shown, giving you a place to mark your corners with a pencil. Lastly, test to make sure that the stakes are holding the footings in firmly. Your whole footing structure must be able to withstand significant strain as you continue to work on it.
Carl Beatty, Beatty's Builders, services everyone in our viewing audiences, builds buildings, but does not use the traditional 2x6 frame poured footers. I'm at a loss. Help me out here.
Okay, Randy. Is what we do is the old traditional way and methods of building foundation type style buildings, they pour footers with, like you said, the 2x6s or the 2x8 frame footers and stuff. And then years ago after that, they come up with a pole building method too, to take the place of some of that to be more efficient. And the old traditional way pole building, they drilled holes in the ground and they poured sackcrete in there. A lot of the builders did, and I caught myself doing the same thing years and years ago. And they just let Mother Nature take care of that sackcrete and say to get hard and your posts are setting on that. Well, I got to thinking one day, I said, I would never build a garage like that for myself. Why would I do it for someone else?
Interesting, because again, I built a pole building and that's exactly how we did it.
See, so it comes back to me thinking of how can I provide a better product that I know deep down in my heart that we're going to give them a better substantial foundation. So I come up with a biscuit that we can put down in the hole that's pre-poured. It's 8 inches thick and it's 16 inches to 24 inches in diameter depending on the application of the building and how much weight we have to support through our engineered specifications. So there's different applications for every building. But not only did we do that, it speeds up the process because we don't have to mess around with that sackcrete and dumping it down the hole and waiting for it to set up and do all that stuff. Some people mix it up, dump it down the hole, some people put it in dry. But regardless of the fact that it all comes back to time and efficiency. So we set ours on a pre-poured biscuit type of thing. And it's really a solid foundation. They fit down the hole nice and the posts rest on top of that footer foundation pad. So that makes the building able to assemble in one day.
Ah, there's the key.
That's part of the key, Randy. That's part of the key.
Now, regardless of what building, whether it's going to be a 2-story with a loft, a man cave upstairs, regardless of whether it's going to be a barn, same process. That's where we start.
Yep, that's where we start with the foundation, and depending on how much weight the structure's got to support. So in different applications, we can beef up the footer size to carry that second story because there's more pressure, more weight, more finishing, drywall, electric, whatever have you. You know, you have to allow for all that in engineered specifications.
Now, I have a friend that has an existing 2.5 car garage on a block foundation. He wants to expand that existing 2.5 car garage as well as put a second story on. It takes some pre-assembly, that engineer comes into that
yes,
as well?
Yes, and we have what they call a property site evaluation. We have a laser. We can go out and we take the laser. There's a small fee for that because there's a lot of consulting involved. But like if we want to talk to our customer, they want to come to our office, we'll give them a free 1-hour consultation. We can talk over and hash out some soft cost. You know, I mean, we can get an idea, but it's not going to be the hard cost or the finished price for the project. But we can do a PSE, it's a property site evaluation. I go out and address all the angles of assembling and making sure that I can perform my task and make it work for the customer. So there is a small fee on that, and I price that fee according to how much time I think, so there's really no set price because I've charged people all different depending on travel and time involved and stuff like that. But the nice thing about all my fees, though, if you hire me as a preferred contractor, you can get that reduced off of the bill when we start building, and when we come up with the hard cost, I reduce all those prices for my consulting.
Now, that's leading me into the next part of this conversation I'm having with you today, and this meeting, this building meeting that we're having here with you, the audience, and that is you aren't the guy that's in the paper that's offering that low-end, ticky-tacky garage. That's not you.
Nope, that's not me, Randy. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'll try to give you the best price I can and build you affordable component, but I mean, we estimate everything down to the last nail. I mean, we have systems in our office, we do custom design work. My engineer can approve all of our designs, and I'm well covered to protect that customer. But we all know cheaper isn't always better.
Exactly. Now, I have a short video that shows it's your promotion, basically. You sent me a bunch of photos, and in that is a wide variety of buildings that you've done over the years, from a pretty much looking rectangle building all the way up to something that's very aesthetic, that goes in and it looks as if it's built as part of the home. And let's take a look at that. It's a Beatty building promotion. When we come back, we're going to talk about the outside and then the inside. Hey, nice garage, huh? I'd like to introduce you to Carl Beatty from Beatty's Buildings. He's located in the Dover and New Philly area. He's been in business for 18 years, building quality garages. When I first met Carl, he told me, he says he doesn't do these ticky-tacky cheap garages. His stuff is first class, quality garages. And he also does a variety of other buildings, like small barns and so forth. His business was founded on integrity, excellence, respect, trust, loyalty, and he takes pride in his work, and that's why he stands by his work. If you're interested in pricing or estimates, you can contact Carl at area code 330-339-2333, or just Google Beatty Buildings. And again, he serves anywhere in our viewing audience. So if you're thinking about storing, you need a pole building or barn, how about a loft or a man or a woman cave? A large garage to store your classic car, like your cool Mustang, Carl's your guy. And as you can see, beautiful work. You'll be proud to call this building your own, to store not only your classic cars, but your everyday driver, your farm equipment, your tractors, trailers, whatever. And he can custom build to whatever your needs are. Say you need a high garage like that, or you just want a beautiful man cave. I would contact Beatty Buildings and tell them that you saw it on the Handy Randy show. Beatty Buildings, 330-339-2333. My name, my guarantee. Welcome back to Handy Randy with Carl Beatty. We're talking about pole buildings as in lieu of frame buildings, and you say that's the future.
Absolutely, Randy. I mean, there's so much you can accommodate with a post-frame structure today that people don't even realize or even have a clue how you can actually build these. You know, They're actually building pole building homes now, and they are so efficient that because of the 6-inch cavities and stuff, you can get ample amounts of insulation in the walls, and there's just so much you can do with them. As a matter of fact, as we speak, we're looking into that market more, and we're going to start building our first home. We've done several home additions and done certain things with the post frame structures, but we've never built a standalone home yet.
And you're ready.
We're ready.
Now, there's a fella that has, and this doesn't have to be a man cave, it can be a woman cave.
That's right.
And or us guys can share our man caves with our significant others. He's from Wisconsin, and he has a garage that is built very much. This looks exactly like a couple of your buildings that we just saw on your promotional video. This is not only a peek of the outside, but inside. Once you're finished and walked away, then he took over. And this guy, well, first off, he's got a couple bucks because his fleet of vehicles includes a Corvette, includes a GMC Denali, and a Chrysler 300, and a Jeep, and a motorcycle, and it's all comfortably stored inside of this garage that, again, looks very much like a building built by Carl. Watch.
Hey everybody, I'm going to give you a quick tour of my man cave. Had my garage here for 2 years now. My little passcode lock. Gladiator cabinets. High-def TV in the shop. There's my stereo. My speakers are in all corners of the garage. Way over there in the corner here. Security system. Custom floor. She's pretty shiny. My triangle tube, in-floor heating, furnace. My Denali, of course, with the Duramax. 300. My Corvette. My Harley. Here's my Jeep. Love that Jeep. Super chipped, air raid. Old man Emu suspension. Furnace up there is just a standby in case a secondary heat source in case my furnace goes out. I had it hanging around, so I installed it. This is a air exchange system in case it gets too humid in here. It exchanges the air, keeps it nice and dry. We're going upstairs. Go Wisconsin. Man cave. All right, here we go. We're upstairs now. My little cannon, little eating area. Here's my bathroom. We got everything in here, including a shower, little lighting in there. There you go. There's your sign. Got a full kitchen up here. Water, microwave, stocked refrigerator. We got the air conditioning. We got the wall fireplace. We got a high definition projector on a 100-inch screen on the wall. Everything was pre-wired as far as like the speakers and the surround sound. These speakers in the back. Over there. Behind the couch. Got Xbox down here. along with my own satellite system. Put the remote controlled screen up here. It's going up right now. Just going to reveal my deck. Pull back the blinds. Go walk out here. A satellite dish. A little lighting going on. That's it, man. One more little overview. Here's my man cave. Hope you guys like it. Have a great day. See ya.
Welcome back to Handy Randy. We're talking to Carl Beatty. And if and when those things occur in your household, I know they occur in my household more often than I'd like to admit, that Mrs. Lipscomb, sometimes, I don't know why, sometimes she gets mad at me. I don't understand it, but in the Carl Beatty building world, if Mrs. Lipscomb would give me a timeout and I would have to go to the garage, I'm not crying about it.
Yeah, because you know when Carl Beatty builds that building, you're going to have a nice, warmy man cave that you can go to and have your big old plasma screen TV in there or whatever, your high definition, whatever you wish, and you're going to go out there and you're going to kick back in the recliner and enjoy yourself and just let her be mad.
I can have the volume all the way up. I can have sports on 24/7.
That's right.
And or whatever I please to watch, and I'm with my toys.
Yeah, what better options do you have?
All right, and she thinks she's punishing me. Oh.
Maybe she's doing you a favor, Randy.
Yeah, I think so. So think about this. And I know I'm being this chauvinistic pig, and I've been blamed for that way too many times. But again, this doesn't necessarily have to be just exclusively to the man in the man cave. If the ladies would like to get away for a moment, she can enjoy the man, or we'll call it the woman cave as well, with the plasma or HD TV or whatever. So we'll share, because we share everything else anyway. So what I would like to do, Carl, is again, go back. I want to show that promotional video of yours once more. Again, we put this together exclusively from his photographs of his projects. So we're not sliding in anyone else's work. This is exclusively Carl's products that he's done over the last several years, and show you that the variety, whether it's an add-on garage onto an existing brick home that you did, to look like a farm barn, that big red barn,
Yep.
To their traditional looking garages. This is all Carl's handiwork, and again, available. The beauty of this is local, folks. This is local television. You're watching Carl. It's one of those Saturday morning programs that's being done in New England or in Los Angeles. This is right here in our backyard.
Yes. Yeah, Randy, the idea of me building in this and serving the local community is great. I love working with people and communicating, and like I said, down the road, that we build a very high quality building and at affordable price, and we protect our product for the end user and the consumer. We have all our exclusive items and stuff that we have created over the 18 years that I've been in the business. So I put a lot of research and development and testing, and even tested my own pole, and we're in the process of manufacturing our own pole. We wrap our pole with a special thing to keep it from rotting, and do certain things that a lot of the contractors just don't care about. They just want to come in and build that ticky-tacky building, you know. So we really, really enjoy working with the local people in our area.
So this is, now this upcoming video, I will say that isn't all Carl's work, but this upcoming video shows you the variety of the man caves and or garages that are out there. And if you would sit down with Carl, watch a video like this and have your own concept, your own idea of what you would like that would fit with, you have a barn home or a log home, and you would like that to match your home. You can do that.
Absolutely.
You have a historic property that's 100 years old, and you would like the garage to match the existing building, or the zoning laws in your community means that it has to match. No problem.
No
for
problem.
Beatty, okay?
No problem.
Because you're not building that cookie cutter.
Right.
Right?
Yeah, out of all the buildings, believe it or not, Randy, we've never repeated one building twice. So it's been all custom. So I don't have everyday prices or cookie cutters or widgets to price my buildings to. I work one-on-one with the customer, and not only do I work one-on-one, but I work with them through the entire project from the very beginning to the end.
Use your imagination and take a look at what could be yours. Welcome back to Handy Randy. We're with Carl Beatty from Beatty's Builders. I'll get it out of my mouth. And over the years, we've had these beautiful automobiles. They might be a $5,000 automobile, but they might be a $500,000 automobile. We've seen them all here. Those cars, like mine, I have my daily extra driver in my garage. My other vehicles are stored elsewhere. At some point in time, I would like to get all my stuff and my toys and have them right where I could get at them and go outside and pick what I wanted to drive, whether it be my motorcycle, or we've had friends with our Chris Craft, and that's worth a lot of money, and I want it stored in a great place. That is exactly what you have to offer at your business. You're headquartered in New Philadelphia. That's your address. Dover, New Philly.
Yes.
But you will go to anywhere, whether you're watching this show in Cleveland or Akron or Worcester or New Philadelphia or Coshocton. Anybody that gets this show, that's right in your sweet zone.
Yes. Yes, it is, Randy. Thinking about what you said there, as we speak, we're actually in Columbus, Ohio, building a building right now. So, I mean, we do travel up to a couple hours. I like to keep it within that. We did get a call on a very interested prospect about 3.5 hours away, but we're still going to try to figure out a way to help that customer out.
Beautiful. So if you're watching this program, you could Google Beatty Buildings, just Beatty Buildings, Ohio. It's going to bring up your website. Your website explains it all.
Yes.
It really does, doesn't it? It's
Yes,
very,
it does.
very complete website. So or to give you a call, and your phone number is area 330
339-2333.
339-2333, and give Carl a call. You can meet with him. He either can come to your property, you can come down to his office, sit down and plan out and use your imagination. Use your imagination.
Absolutely. We get people sketching things out on a piece of paper, napkin, whatever. It don't matter. But the main thing is we're starting to build that relationship from the very beginning and getting a full understanding of exactly how you want your new post frame building to protect your investments.
Then it's all done by a local guy that cares about his customers, and his 18 years of experience has been founded on customer loyalty, and you want it because your name's on it.
Yep. Service and customer loyalty is the biggest thing I do. In returning phone calls, I hear it all the time. I called 20 contractors and they won't call me back. You don't have to worry about that with me. I will definitely call you back, usually within 1 to 2 business days. I'm always a busy guy, but I always find time to return my phone calls promptly.
Beautiful. It's called Beatty Buildings, and we'll go out with some people that have used their imagination when it comes to storing their precious toys. Thanks for watching, folks.